Welcome to the Over 40 Alpha Podcast with your host, Funk Roberts.
We are live, and welcome to the Over 40 Alpha Podcast. I'm your host, Funk Roberts, former professional athlete, certified testosterone and hormone specialist, and I am the man known around the world as the guy who helps men in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s completely transform their lives. And this is a podcast for you, man. This is a podcast where we talk about health, we talk about fitness, we talk about nutrition, we talk about recovery, both mental and physical. We talk about sleep, we talk about hormones, we talk about supplementation and everything to do with helping us be in the best shape, the best health that we can be in our 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond. And I want to welcome you to the podcast. Wow, that was a very long intro. But if you're new to the podcast, that's what we do here. That's what I do here. And I'll either, preach and teach, or I'll have somebody on the podcast. And today I'm excited about our guest on the podcast. You have to think about, I'm 55 years old, and through my 55 years, I was a professional athlete, 2 sports, I left a 6-figure job and, to do this online thing, open up my business, running 7-figure companies. I was in addiction, deep, I've done so many things and seen so many things and traveled the world, twice over. And one of the things that I've learned as I continue to age is you have to be able to open your mind, and be able to listen, and try new things, specifically as we're getting older. And specifically, we're in an age now where, we're at a time now where we have so many advancements, right? Like in technology and medicine and science and research and information, that there's so much happening that when you close your mind to things, and don't give them a chance because society, it's not cool with society or this and that, you're doing yourself a disservice. One of the things that really boggles my mind is, and I talk about this before, and I think I know why, but it's like, if you have a friend that you've grown up with, or somebody who literally is an expert at something that you're struggling with, literally, like you're having so many problems, you're struggling, and everything you've tried and doesn't work, and we'll talk about the health field, and now you're getting, your health is getting worse and worse. And you're not there for your family as much. Every time you look in the mirror, you're really hating yourself. You're depressed. You have anxiety. You're stressed. And now you're starting to get these chronic health issues, right? And you try to mask it with your manhood. You try to mask it by telling everyone you're okay. You try to mask it and suppress all of the horrible feelings that you feel, the health issues that you have, that, it just continues to get worse and worse. And next thing you know, you have a heart attack, or you suffer from, some type of a cancer, something pops up, and you could have got help. You could have overcome all of these things just by reaching out to the person who you've grown up with, or who through what have you, who's an expert in something that you're struggling with. Men don't like to ask for help. And it boggles my mind because, I have so many people. I see a lot of the guys that I've grown up with, whether it's seeing them physically or online, and just looking at their health deteriorate. I don't care about how much money they make. I don't care about anything else but health, right? I care about everyone's health, men specifically, because that's what I do. And so seeing all of their health deteriorate, and having a lot of those guys come to me at some point over the last 15 years to ask for help, but not really taking it, just kind of like, hey, I'm just kind of like, just want to ask you a little, like, it's like they're afraid, right? Because their minds aren't open, right? There's some type of a pride that's going on. But I do know sometimes people, like for me, for instance, if you've known me when I was younger, or you grew up with me in high school, or you grew up with me, through the university years, or you grew up with me as an athlete, or you've worked with me, whatever it is, you probably don't see me as the person I am today. You see me as that person back then. So you're like, well, it's Funk, or it's Mark, or whatever you know me as. Why would I mean, yeah, he's doing great, but I don't really want to ask him, right? Because it just shows that I'm not doing as well as I want people to think I'm doing. I don't know. It just boggles my mind. Like, I know that if people who I know who are really great at something, and I've known that, those are the first people I'm going to go to. Hey, man, I know you're doing this. I want you to help me. Like my cousin she's an incredible real estate agent, one of the top real estate agents, in the city here. And so if I'm doing anything with a house, I'm going to her, period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, I'm not even going to freaking think about it. Like, you have a Rolodex of people that you should be reaching for. But for us guys, or not me personally, but for you guys, a lot of guys, they try to close their mind. And I don't know why that is. We need to open our mind. And the reason why I started this by saying that is because today you need to open your mind. You need to listen to this podcast or watch this podcast with an open mind. Where are you right now in your health? Where are you right now in your life? Are you happy with you? Not with your kids, not with your wife, not with anything else but you. Because a lot of times us guys will live our lives through our kids. We'll live our lives through, maybe it's our wife, or we don't live it through us. It's like, oh, my kid, like if you go on Facebook, I guess sometimes in my feed, it's like, oh, my kid's doing this, my kid's like, it's always about the kids. It's never about them. How are you doing? I can see what you look like, and I can see that you're extremely unhealthy, but how are you doing? Because you're talking about your kids all the time, but you're not talking about yourself. Because there's going to come a time where your kids aren't going to have a father, because the father, you, are going to be on a hospital gurney, in the hospital. So, of course, we want our kids to be great, but we have to be in the best health we can be. So we have to open our minds to different things. Where are you today? Because today we're going to talk to Tom Paladino, who in the realm of healing has created some, I guess, cutting edge science, right? So he's got this technology that uses scalar energy. If you don't know what scalar energy, it's something that was, I guess, not invented, but it's not invented, but discovered and really and truly pioneered through the work of Nikola Tesla, right? And so he really and truly brought scalar energy to the forefront, harnessing energy to help heal, harnessing out energy to help, with other things in life in general. But Tom Paladino, who has literally over the last, 12 years or so, I mean, he'll talk about how much research and how he's really delved into scalar energy and how it can help us harness all of its potential through healing, right? Healing, and through getting us some of the, I guess it's aligning our chakras, right? Aligning it so that we are healthy, right? And so the thing about this is you definitely have to have an open mind, because it's not something that you can touch. It's not something that you can see. It's not something that you take, but it's energy, right? And it's the potential energy that we can harness. And he's built something that takes energy, both our energy and the energy the energy of something we will want to remove from our body. Like, I don't know. Maybe you have herpes. Maybe you have some type of high cholesterol, or what have you. Can remove that, or can add things like vitamins, minerals, and things that you can't. It's too expensive for you to go and buy supplements, or you're not getting it enough of it through your nutrition. But this technology and this instrument that he's created can take that through energy, can take your energy, match it up with the energy energy of something that you either want to remove or something you want to add into your life. Like testosterone, for instance, you can get, basically from what he's going to explain, you can literally get testosterone therapy through the energy of testosterone, and you as well through your energy. And so I'm kind of setting this up to let you know that you really have to have an open mind when you listen to this. And one of the great things that he's also giving us is 15 days for free using his sessions. But I will let him talk about that through this podcast episode. But again, guys, you have to learn to open your mind, and you have to think about where am I right now? Am I where I want to be right now physically? Not about anything else about what you have, but who you are as a man, where things look like in the next 5 years, 10 years, physically for you, if you keep doing the same things that you're doing, and start to explore ways. I mean, because listen, I'm giving you the way. If you go to over40alpha.com for $1, you're going to get 30 days of literally the foundation for a healthier and better life that's worked with thousands and worked for tens of thousands of men from all over the world in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, like workouts, nutrition, and like I'm talking follow along workouts, nutrition, live coaching every Friday, 9 a.m., support from all your brothers from all over the world. It is literally everything that you need in your hands, but you got to do the work. Some people don't want to do the work, because even if I'm giving you something that's guaranteed to work 100%, and you can prove me wrong, but I know 100% it will work for you, take it. It's $1, over40alpha.com. But if you don't want to, you can also go to funksupplements.com and get my Alpha Max Test 3D Plus testosterone, natural testosterone booster. If you need a boost to start your process of getting healthier, use podcast 15. Go to my funksupplements.com and grab my Alpha Max Test 3D Plus testosterone booster. And if that's even too much, then listen to what our man Tom Paladino talks about and teaches us about scalar energy and how we can use it to help us heal and basically get into incredible health in our 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond. Enjoy the podcast. Welcome to today's podcast. I'm really excited about today because, one of the things I always say is, with all the advancements of technology, the advancements in science, the advancements in the medical industry over the years, it still boggles my mind that specifically in North America, but I'm probably going to say the entire world, we are, specifically men over 40, in the worst health ever. Like ever. With all this information at our hands, with all of these things that we can access, how are we in the worst health ever? Well, we're gonna dive into some new stuff. I think one of the biggest things is being able to open up your mind to new things. There are a lot of advancements, but we need to be open to learn, right, and make our own decisions on things that we want to pursue and see if it works. So I'm excited today because I'm that type of guy who likes to learn about everything, learn about new advancements and how it can help us optimize our health, optimize longevity. So today I'm excited to have Tom Paladino talk to us about Scalar energy. Am I right about that? Yes. Welcome, Tom. Scalar energy. Welcome, Tom. I'm really excited for you to be here. So why don't we talk about what scalar energy is and let's break that down first.
Okay. Well, that's a good point. Scalar energy, what is that? It's the energy of the sun and the stars. It's the initial energy of the universe. This is not electricity. And with this energy, you can do so much. And I've discovered by harnessing this energy through instruments, through engineered instruments, I can improve what I call quantum health. It's not biological health, so I use this energy from the sun, the stars to improve informational health. And we'll get into that.
Sure. So how did you get started in this? Like what drove you down this lane, and what was the discovery process?
Yeah, the founding father of scalar energy was Nikola Tesla, the great scientist Nikola Tesla. And I looked at his work closely, and I realize that working with this energy, you have a command, you have some type of control, dominion over nature. Again, this is not electricity. So with scalar energy, if we can have a command over nature, then we can have a command over the information system of the body. So to be clear, we're not going to speak about biological health. We're going to speak about a higher level of information that ultimately dictates biological health.
Mm-hmm. So is it like, you say it's not a form of, it's a form of energy, right?
Yes, it
It's
is.
not
Correct.
electricity, but it's a form of energy. And so how does that
That's
differ
correct.
from like
The energies
electromagnetic
from the sun and the
energy?
stars, it's a different type of energy than that of electromagnetic energy. It is not electricity. It is not magnetism.
Okay. So how does our body kind of, you know, how does this help our body? Like kind
Yeah,
of,
that's the bottom line.
yeah.
What do I mean by this? Well, whether we realize it or not, we are in a sea of energy, both electromagnetic energy and scalar energy. However, today, academia does not recognize scalar energy, which is quantum energy, 0 point energy. I've demonstrated with instruments, this is one of the instruments behind me, that scalar energy can improve the information of a person. Their soul, mind, and body is first dictated by information, intelligence. And after we have that download of intelligence, then we see the physical manifestations thereafter. So I don't put the cart before the horse. To be very clear, I look at nature from the causal standpoint. The cause is energy, instructions. And with a type of instrument like this, I can dictate the cause and then the effect follows.
So how does okay? I'm just trying to grasp like how does scalar energy get this information? Like, what is the information that it's getting to
Yes,
enable it to like through us or even through nature or what have
right,
you?
right. For instance, this is how I instruct vitamins. Now, follow me on this. This is a photograph of a vitamin. All of my work is non-physical, it's informational. If I wanted to assume this vitamin, have the energy of this vitamin, I would place these two photographs inside the instrument. Now follow my thinking. The energy of riboflavin will match up, will download, will be imparted into my energy field. I never work with people, I work with photographs because I'm at the informational level, not the biological level. If I were to place these two photographs inside my quantum instrument, the energy of riboflavin would match up, would be downloaded, would communicate with my information field, which is denoted by my photograph. So instead of taking riboflavin orally, I receive riboflavin energetically through my quantum field, through my information field. It's much more advantageous, it's safe, there is no allergic reaction, and it's guaranteed because I work with light energy. I'm not working with a chemical.
You keep saying chemical. Why would vitamin B be a chemical? Isn't that a vitamin?
It is, but I'm saying everything has a chemical nature. To
Right,
be
right, yeah.
clear, this is energy. It's not a physical form. So whether we take a vitamin or eat food, it's always a biochemical reaction. Now, follow me. I have nothing to do with a biochemical reaction because I don't work with chemicals. All I work with are light and light symbols. This is what? Symbolic. This is riboflavin under a microscope that I can impart energetically. So what's the point? I'd much rather work energetically than chemically.
Why is that? What is the difference between
It's much more
working
efficient.
why
Much more
why
efficient.
why would energy be much more efficient than the
Good,
chemical?
good, good point. Because it's a first principle, because it's a cause. Nothing can stop light, and light is perfect. When I impart the light of riboflavin, that's exactly what I get, riboflavin. When I have to ingest riboflavin, I have to worry about my age, metabolic processes, cofactors that might inherently affect the absorption of riboflavin. I might have to worry about, if you will, endocrine disruptors in my body, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
So I never work at the physical level. I work at the level of information. Now, I'll give you an analogy. When you build a home, you have architectural plans. Everything's perfect on those architectural plans, correct? And if everything's perfect on those architectural plans, the final product, the home, is perfect. Well, that's what I'm doing. These are my architectural plans. I don't start at the physical level, I start at the architectural level. And hence, I can propose that I can perform perfect function at the architectural level, the intellectual level.
Okay, so just so I can kind of dissect for people who are listening. So if you take the picture of vitamin B, because that's what we're using, vitamin B. So you have a picture of vitamin B, and the picture is it under the microscope. So you've taken a picture of it under the microscope. So now holding that picture, there's energy coming out of that picture, or there's energy within that picture. And again, I mean, this is not my wheelhouse, so I'm not sure how the energy from a picture, is kind of is taken. But just I'll get back to that. So the picture has the energy. Then I'm going to take a picture of myself and perhaps send it to you or upload it or what have you. And my own picture has energy as well, right? So now we have the vitamin B, which I want more of. We have my own picture, and both of them have that energy. And so you have you have something that takes, I guess you upload. I'm not sure the how that process works, but you have an instrument that kind of like, okay, now this instrument's going to take using the scalar light, is going to take the energy from vitamin B, the energy from the picture of this person. And then how is that going to, because I only gave you a picture, but I'm sitting here in Toronto, Canada. How am I now going to, receive more vitamin B into my body?
Okay. By way of analogy, you're in Canada, I live in the United States. We're having a discussion through our computers. You're not in my laboratory, I'm not in Canada. We can do that through images, through this video recording. Well, why can't you do that through an image of a photograph? You can. Now, regardless of where a person is, I can take their energy field, which is everywhere. I can download the instructions of riboflavin energetically into a person, whether it's one person or 1,000 people. This is a new science. Make this very clear. This is new and emerging as a branch of physics. It's quantum physics, in which you can be everywhere through an image of a photograph. Now, how does that help us? What's the bottom line? I download nutrients energetically into my field, into my information field, always keeping it at the level of energy. Energy is the highest form of nutrition. I'm going to repeat that. Receiving nutrients by way of scalar energy is the highest form of nutrition, because my entire, from head to toe, I am, if you will, immersed in a sea of riboflavin, and it's evenly distributed. So it's not a chemical process, it's a higher order in which everything, my entire soma, my entire psyche is receiving that energy without any inhibition, without any type of endocrine disruptor getting in the way, without having to worry about a metabolic process. This is the best way to receive nutrients.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay, I'm still trying to, grasp this, because for the layperson, it's not something that everyone is privy to, because not everyone went to school for, physics, quantum physics. Probably yes. A lot of people who did, it's like, oh God, I got to take quantum physics class. Oh my God. Right? It's not something that you're excited about, unless you're excited about quantum physics. So for a lot of people, when they're hearing this, it's very, I know sometimes it can be very difficult to digest and understand, because, it's difficult for someone to understand that if we, through these two pictures,
yes,
and of course there has to be the scalar light, because I think that's the process that yes. makes this all work. You can't just take two pictures and then say, okay, here we go, and put them on top of each other. So what is the process using scalar light? Okay, you're holding a light bulb in your hand, correct?
Yeah, let me explain. This instrument is on, it's functioning. It's so strong, it can illuminate a light bulb in my hand. So that's the energy of the sun, the stars. Now, imagine that energy, identical energy, entering into your quantum field through a photograph, through your energy field. That's what people experience when they're under my program. Now, if you can do that through a person's chakras, why can't you deliver that energy by way of a photograph of a microbe, or by way of a photograph of a nutrient, or by way of a photograph that would balance the chakras? So this is the energy field that we're working with now, riboflavin. When I want to balance somebody's chakras, the energy field was so strong, it will balance the 7 chakras of a person or their meridians. If this is a person's meridians, why can't this energy download at will into the 7 chakras? So the amount of energy going into that light bulb is the identical energy going into my chakras.
Okay, so explain to people what chakras are, because not everyone knows what a chakra is. And what are the 7 chakras?
All right, there are 7 chakras. What is that? It's a spinning vortex. That's scalar energy. This, by way of an image, there are 7 spinning vortices. Those are scalar energy points in which we have a informational input. Those 7 energy points are spinning vortices of scalar energy, and they impart information. It's always non-physical. So when you're working with this architectural system, so to speak, there's 7 points of distribution. And by balancing the chakras, and I do this every night, I sleep very well. I sleep 6 or 7 hours without interruption. How can I do that? Because my chakras are balanced. I'm at peace. I'm at rest. So this is the new way of looking at health, not biologically, but energetically through the chakra system.
Okay, so the chakra system's key here because that's what we want balance. So for those who are listening, Tom held up a picture of our chakras. So our chakras start above and they go through the body. And there's at different points, I'm assuming each chakra kind of focuses on a different aspect of your life, or are they just 7 of them? Or do each one have a role?
Yes, yeah. There are 7 chakras, and depending on who you speak to, there's different functions. There's different roles for those 7 chakras. But it would stand to reason that people have been able to photograph these chakras by way of Kirlian photography, and there are 7 distinct chakras. So I don't think they're all identical, so they all have a specific function. Now, again, that really depends upon who you speak to. But as this new science emerges, we're going to see that those 7 chakras carry information. That's the key to the universe. What carries information? Light, energy. What's fundamental? Light, energy. Why do we have 7 chakras? That's how we receive our instructions.
So for most men in their 40s, 50s, 60s who are experiencing physiological changes, their hormone levels are going down naturally. They're fighting sarcopenia, natural loss of muscle due to aging.
Yeah.
A bunch of other things that may be happening, metabolism slowing down due to lifestyle and not understanding. If you were to look at someone's chakra, it would probably be all out of whack. Am I correct?
Yes.
Because they're just like one's over here on the right side of your body, the other one's
Yeah.
on the left. Maybe there's one that's, a mile away because it's not even there. And our goal as men and as humans is to try to get all of our chakras all in a row. So working together, lining everything
That's
up
right.
so that once that's lined up, we are in a better place to
Yes.
be as healthy as we possibly can be. So it's the chakras that are all out in the energy.
Yes.
We're speaking energy, which is the key for everything, right? Is the energy base. And is that because of all the I know you didn't say electricity, but that is because like neutrons, protons, all of those things that we're made up of. Is that why the energy is where we should be focusing the most on?
I believe that the electromagnetic spectrum will, if you will, impart what I would consider inimical energy to the chakras. The chakras are scalar energy. Let's say you're exposed to a great deal of electricity or you're by high tension wires. I think that will throw out of alignment our chakras. And it stands to reason many people who say that they work around a great deal of electricity or say computers throughout the day, they feel that their chakras are now out of alignment. Mm-hmm. Well, I would concur with that because the chakras are scalar energy, they're not electrical. And electricity is inimical, is harmful to that arrangement of chakras. So the best way to regroup, if you will, your chakras is either prayer, meditation, a scalar energy practice like I have. These are not points of electricity. These are points of scalar energy. Scalar energy and electricity are really opposed to one another.
Yes. Yeah, I do know that. Yes, and that makes sense. It's like after I work out, I have a mat that I use. And every time
Yes.
I roll up this mat and I bring it to inside the house, I get electrocuted like crazy
Yeah.
because of that. And it's not a happy, good, feeling great electric
No, it
shock. It's
isn't.
more of a negative electric shock. And it's just like, man. And I guess that also stands to reason why we're always told like not having our phones in our pocket. I mean, I know we're going a little bit out of but just not being on the computer all day, getting up, walking around, breathing, meditation, all those. I just launched a meditation course, which is funny that you said that. Yeah.
I agree. There are reports, and it's been proven medically that high voltage electricity can cause certain types of cancer or autoimmune reactions, etc.
Yes.
Why? It's inimical. It's unfriendly energy. I say we go back to the stars. I say we go back to the initial energy of the universe, scalar energy, and we rebalance. We're designed to be balanced by scalar energy, not by magnetism, not by electricity.
How did you get into, let me back up for this. How did you get into this? What drove you to this discovery? You specifically, what is your background? What's your origin story?
My background is that of a physicist, but it's the off the beaten path physics that I'm studying. This is not taught by academia. This is Tesla physics. This type of physics is suppressed. This is free energy physics, and it's not taught by academia. So Tesla gave me that initial, if you will, direction. I knew that Tesla was onto something incredible. Even when Tesla was experimenting with scalar energy over 100 years ago, Tesla mentioned that his health and his co-workers, their health was improved dramatically when they were in the vicinity of scalar energy instruments. Just by being close to these instruments, close to this energy, Tesla and his co-workers, they felt their health improved. I agree with that. That's why I made a career out of scalar energy instruments.
So did you go to school for physics and then you just
Yes.
what was that? What was the transformation into this?
I did. I went to school and I spent a good 12, 13 years at the academic level. But later in life, I said I have to do this on my own. And it's been groundbreaking, independent research since that point. A lot of hard work.
Yeah, I'm absolutely. Was there like a moment that clicked? Like, I'm sure you're just not in school all of a sudden and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. Like, was there something that happened that you're like, oh, wait a minute, I need to go back to Tesla and figure it out? Like, did someone around you pass away, or was something your health maybe? Was there something like that happened?
I had the foresight at a young age. I wanted to follow Tesla. And school education was crucial because you have to have an understanding of physics, of the universe. But thereafter, I realized I would have to leave academia and do this on my own. That's the key. There's been a few scalar energy researchers. They had to distinguish academic careers, but after that, they never walked into a classroom again. They were always in their laboratory undertaking groundbreaking discoveries.
Have you been doing this by yourself, or do you talk to other scalar energy scientists? I guess, what do we...
Yeah, that's a good point. I do this on my own. I'm the only researcher in my company. It's such a poorly understood topic, and very few people want to spend a career at this. To be very clear, Funk, there is no way to commercialize this. There is no paycheck, Funk.
Right.
And who's going to spend 50 years pursuing an esoteric topic, an esoteric subject without a paycheck? It just doesn't happen.
100%. So has there been any, you said this is new, right? Like obviously scalar energy is not new, but this, what you're talking about is new.
Right.
How new is it? And has there been any research behind this, or have you ran any research?
Yeah, I've come public now with my work in the past 13 years, and I've never seen anybody who's either proven or disproven my work. And I don't expect them to be able to prove it or disprove it, because you have to follow this type of engineering. You have to follow this type of theory and this type of experimentation. And until that happens, I have no peers. So to be clear, that I'm still alone in this field, by and large. Very few people have ventured in this other path. This is the path less taken.
Right. Because of the work. The juice is worth the squeeze when, more and more people learn about this and can use it. But in general, when people think about it, they're like, oh man, this is not worth it. It's too much work. Okay, so talk about the machine. I'm calling it a machine because I don't know. So, but talk about the instrument that is used, in order
I'm going to point to the instrument.
Okay,
so this is a scalar energy instrument. Now you'll notice there's no moving parts. So the kinetic energies from the stars, from the sun. Okay? You don't see an induction motor. You don't see an armature. Nothing is moving. And that's the case. This is what I've discovered. Scalar energy exists everywhere. My laboratory is filled with scalar energy. Your office is filled with scalar energy. It's simply a matter of tapping into that, capturing that energy. So imagine in the future, there will be no power plants. You don't need power plants. The stars are the power plants. All you need to do is capture the energy from the stars.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about the stars and the sun. And so scalar energy is energy from the stars and the sun.
Yes, sir.
Okay, beautiful.
That's good. That's it. I know.
I got an A.
Go ahead.
I got an A. Thank you. Okay, so
and that's the key element here.
We
don't have to recreate or build anything.
Right. So it definitely makes sense when we talk about getting vitamin D3 from the sun, as opposed to like the best way, the most efficient way, the way that your body's going to get the most vitamin D3 is from the sun, and not just standing in the sun, but literally taking all off your clothes and literally, being there for 10, 15 minutes to really get the energy, I'm assuming, or the vitamin D3 that the sun will help, build inside of you. Which I guess that would be an example, because I'm trying to give the layperson who's listening to this an example where they can be like, okay, now I'm starting to get it, right? Because you have to admit that, when people talk about this type of stuff, they're out. Like, as soon as someone says, what is it? Not, when you predict people from the stars, it's called
teleportation.
No, you're predicting their lives and
astrology.
Yeah, astrology. So I have been, approached and sat down with an astrologer before, and they sat down with me, and I definitely know that a lot of that stuff that she was saying to me was true. But again, when people start talking like that, right? Oh, astrologies, the sun, the star. People just, I'm out, right? Because they don't want to give it a chance. They don't want to think about outside of what they've been told all the time, where it's like, oh, no, it's got to be this, it's got to be this.
I get that, but there is some merit to astrology. Why? The stars carry intelligence, information. My instrument is a miniature star. I impart information, and that information could be considered past, present, and future information. So there is a science to astrology. It's scalar energy. It's information from the stars. Now, the difficult part is, how do you interpret that information? Very few people can. I can't. Right. Why? There's billions of galaxies. How do you interpret information from billions of galaxies? I don't know anybody who can do that.
Right. So would the example of the sun and vitamin D3 be the closest way to explain how energy? Okay, would that be the closest way for people to get it? Like, okay, I get it. Because sometimes people don't get the fact that they're going to get vitamin D3. Like, they just think, I got to be in the sun, I'm going to get vitamin D3. But if we say, hey, listen, when you're standing in the sun getting vitamin D3, that's scalar energy, or a form of it, actually getting that to you, because that's what the sun emits. It emits vitamin D3. And so for us to get it,
obviously we need sunshine to produce D3, as you mentioned.
Right.
It's many say it's a pre-vitamin, but it ultimately lends itself to vitamin D3, and that's why you should go out every day and get a little bit of sun exposure. And they say that the greater amount of surface area, skin, that's exposed, the greater amount of absorption of vitamin D3 that your body will produce. There are some things that our body cannot produce innately. There are some nutrients that are essential by way of diet. Sure.
Yes. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. I'm glad that you did that. So if you're listening, think of this like that. If you need to figure it out, you just figured it out. The sun and vitamins. So what if you live in a place that doesn't have a lot of sun and like specifically a lot of sun. And there's some, like, I live in Canada, Toronto, and in January we had no sun. We had 2 days of sun. That's it, right?
Yep.
So how does someone get scalar energy when there's no sun?
Yeah. Scalar energy is in no way impeded by any geographic point, is no way impeded by the weather. This energy from the sun and the stars floods the universe, including Toronto, Canada. So you don't have to worry. It's not electromagnetic. It's not as if you're going to run out of scalar energy ever. It's infinite in supply.
Okay. So that's great. So let's get back to the instrument. So the instrument that you built this instrument. How did you build it? What?
I'm not the original inventor. A man by the name of Galen Hieronymus was the initial inventor. He received actually a Canadian and the U.S. patent for this instrument. He is deceased, and I'm the only one carrying on with his work right now, Galen Hieronymus. And notably, it's very difficult. I met with the Hieronymus family. I studied their notes, and they essentially sold me scalar energy instruments 30, 40 years ago. So I was able to, if you will, attach onto the work of the inventor, Galen Hieronymus. My point is this is generation upon generation of knowledge, of know-how, of engineering expertise. So you can't start at square one and expect to make a great deal of progress. You won't.
Sure. Okay. Okay. Let's get to what are some of the things that we can improve with our help using scalar energy.
Here's another, for instance. I'm going to hold up a photograph of Enterococcus. This is a common bacterium, and it causes infection. I don't address the biological Enterococcus. I address it by way of energy. Now, what do I mean? If I were to place my photograph inside the instrument, side by side this force field of Enterococcus, the two force fields communicate. In other words, the energy of Enterococcus might be found, and if it is on my force field, the instrument, the energy, will find the signature of Enterococcus and remove it, destroy it, negate it. This is the easy way to go after a bacterium, a virus, a fungus, and negate that bacterium, virus, fungus through energy. So this is how I cleanse myself, soul, mind, and body, because I can take the energy field of Enterococcus and remove it, negate it.
So the energy from the picture and the energy from both pictures are being used, and that picture is your energy. It's like your thing.
Yes.
So whatever happens to that picture, can well, I guess will happen to you through the energy. Okay.
Exactly, because it's immediately connected. Anything in a scalar energy force field connects. So my photograph is my aura. This is my aura. My energy field is precisely that, my energy field. And I have to stress, I'm not working at the biological level, which is very, if you will, slow and ineffective. I'm working at the level of architecture, of design, of intelligence, in which everything happens instantaneously. So this is a new branch of physics in which we now have to assume that we're something more than biology. I don't work with people biologically. I work with their energy field. But an energy field is not taught by academia. It's not taught in biology class. It's not taught in med school. I work with the energy field, the aura of a person.
So, but you need that instrument in order for this to happen.
Yes,
correct?
That's correct. That's
you have
the
to
key.
have that. You can't just put pictures. You got to have that instrument.
Yes.
And that instrument will dictate whatever you're trying to get more of or remove.
Yes, sir. That's the key to my work. You need a scalar energy instrument to access the scalar energy dimension, to find the force field of a person, the aura, call it the energy field, call it what you will, and then impart instructions upon that force field to improve that person's health. It's a new branch of physics. It's a new branch of medicine, I guess.
Right. Wow. Okay. So for men, what kind of benefits can this give them, right? Like on a hormonal base or just men in general.
Okay. I am 64 years of age. I feel great.
You look great.
At age 64, I don't take any pharmaceutical products. I don't need surgery. I sleep like a baby every night. I'm strong. I don't have viral infection or bacterial infection. I receive my nutrients every day, 22 hours a day, by way of this process. So I am a living testimony that this instrument can provide for my needs, my spiritual, my emotional, my physical needs. If I instruct this instrument to look at the energy pattern of testosterone and to download that, it will. And I feel the surge of energy from that photograph of testosterone, not a chemical surge, an energetic surge. I treat myself with testosterone every day. And because of that, I'm stronger. I believe that helps my mental clarity. I believe that helps my recall through the energy of testosterone.
Right. So for those listening, Tom held up a picture of testosterone, but again, remember, this is not just the picture of the chemical. It's under the microscope, so you're getting very microscopic when you're showing that picture of testosterone with his own picture. And then, so how long does a process? So let's say you were going to go through this process today. What would you do?
I feel the effects within a day of these processes. In one day, I feel the what I would consider salubrious effect. Other people tell me within one day they feel better. Now, why? Why does that happen so quickly? Energy happens in a flash. We don't have to worry about chemical processes. We don't have to worry about your body assuming chemicals and reshaping your body. There's no chemicals here. Information is instantaneous. Compare this to a computer program. When you program a computer, it's instantaneous, so to speak, programming. You don't have to worry about your computer to metabolize the information. No, it doesn't do that. You simply download information on your computer.
Yeah, for sure. It's like AI, ChatGPT 4.0 right now.
Yes.
It's like literally it's twice as much faster than ChatGPT, and you don't have to worry. The information's coming right away. Like it's insane. Okay, so when I talk about the process, like how long does it take not for it to work, but for you to do this? Like, is it 5 minutes? Is it 3 minutes? Do you just take the pictures and put it in, and then 2 minutes, or is it ongoing?
Yeah, I would say within when people begin our program, within the first week they start feeling better. After a month, they feel much better. That's typical for people. Now, why do people vary? Well, age, activity, genetic predisposition, et cetera, et cetera. But the bottom line is, working with energy, working with light, nothing can impair the signal. This instrument, nothing can stop the broadcast of scalar energy. It will pass through a brick wall. And it always has its function because we're staying at the level of cause. Where light energy dictates nature. With scalar light, I can dictate the nature of our quantum being.
Right, yeah. Definitely with yeah, for sure. So so if I was to give you, I just want to back up and just get a better idea of the process. So if I gave you my picture and you took testosterone, what do you do with it right now? Yeah. What would you do with that? Show us.
Sure. If this is funk, at the end of the day, I print out photographs. I literally print them out.
Okay.
And I have a number of scalar energy instruments. If you were on our male testosterone program, I print your photograph out, and I would place inside the instrument a photograph of testosterone.
Okay. And
the bottom line is you would be treated 24 hours a day with the energy of testosterone. The energy, not chemically. So what's the benefit? You never have what I consider an overdose. There's no toxic shock. There's no negative side effects. You cannot have an allergic reaction from a photograph. This is the safe way of health. It's the energetic way. We're never working with biology. We're never working with flesh and blood. We're working with the energy, the aura of a person. An aura cannot experience an allergic reaction. Your aura cannot have any pimple or any type of overload or any type of toxicity. This is the way we should be working with people in the medical field, not chemically, oracally, etherically.
Yeah, the problem with not working chemically is that you don't get to make money. That's
Right,
why.
right, right. And that's why my research is not being taken up. There's no money in it. This, I enjoy what I do. It's much more than a hobby to me, but to restate what I mentioned, there's no money in this. You cannot commercialize this.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about results. Like, I did go to the page and see some reviews and testimonials. How many people have used this?
Many people will come to us, for instance, and one of the common problems that people complain about is they might have, say, the herpes infection or Epstein-Barr. So what do? I would take a photograph of herpes. Energetically, I would match it up to my photograph. If I had the herpes virus, the instrument, the energy, would pick out the signal of herpes in me, and it would negate the energy of herpes in my quantum field. Again, never working at the chemical level, always working at the level of information. A photograph of herpes finds herpes and eliminates herpes through the instrument.
Now, will this eliminate it for good? Like, for instance,
yes.
So let me give you an example. Let's say that I have a friend, not me, but a friend who gets staph infection, right? They get staph infection. They train Muay Thai, they train MMA, they train Jiu-Jitsu, so they get that staph infection. But the thing about staph is sometimes it can lie dormant and just get, depending on your immune or depending on what had happened that day, or it can all of a sudden flare up without you even being at a gym or rolling. But it's just something that's going to continue to flare up. Can that be removed?
Yes. It can immediately, because we negate the signal of Staphylococcus aureus or any bacterium immediately, but you can become reinfected. So I cannot.
If you go back there.
So in other words, when I work with people who have herpes, they tell me as long as they don't have, say, unprotected sex, they no longer have the herpes simplex virus. It's gone. Many people say they perform PCR tests and there's no viral load. According to them, their symptoms leave. Okay, I have to rely upon their educational background. I have to rely upon their testimony. So it appears that this energy is able to eradicate viruses, including the herpes virus. And as long as you don't have unprotected sex or take a transfusion, a tainted blood transfusion, you're not going to get herpes again.
Yeah, so it's not removing it to make you immune to it. You have to get it. Yes. It's removed, or again, if it's something that we want to remove, we're going to remove it. But now this is your chance to live a healthier life. Maybe start getting some of the vitamins, minerals, the things that phytonutrients that we can get through energy.
Yes.
And now you're living a more healthier life where you've just removed something that keeps coming up over and over again, and you're replacing it with a better lifestyle, but also better health through scalar energy. Which, if scalar energy removes something, then gosh darn it, you're going to use scalar energy to bring something back in, I'm sure.
Yeah. Again, what do I like about this energy? We're working at the level of information. You negate the information. You negate the molecular intelligence of the herpes virus. You don't have to assail it with a chemical, with a drug, which is really the circuitous, ineffective route. Go straight to the problem. There's an energy field of a virus. You remove that energy field. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, it's simple, but I guess it's simple in the sense of just what's happening. It's just people need to grasp. Oh, well, does that really work? Is that really? Well, the only way you're going to know if it works is just by actually doing the therapy and trying it for yourself, which is what you want people to do. You want people to try and say, listen, prove me wrong. Like that's really, that's how I work with my program. I'm like, listen, I'm going to give this to you for 30 days or $1 for 30 days. And you do it and prove me that you're not going to lose weight or build muscle or live a healthier life or have more energy or better sleep. I want you to prove me wrong. So that's why I'm giving this to you. And 99.9% of the time I'm proven right, and people continue because now they're kind of bought into something that their mind has been closed on, which I think is is where we are at now with this. It's kind of like, okay, well, let's try it and see what happens, right? Like you have some science behind it. I guess. I mean, I don't even know if that's it's science, even though it's not science, or it is science, but it is science. But, you have science behind it. You have testimonials. I saw it on your site. There's testimonials, people who have definitely, got benefits from using this. It's definitely on an energy, on the energy, scale of things, not using supplements or, prescription drugs or what have you. And I think that I think that's where we're at right now. I would feel is just you just have to try it and see if it works.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. It's new. This is
Yes.
groundbreaking. You've probably never spoke to a guy like Tom Paladino before. I get it, people. I've been at this for 50 years. It's a solitary journey that I've been on, but it's been well worth it, because if I can introduce a new branch of physics, this new branch of physics, free energy from the sun and the stars, this new branch of physics should transform our lifestyles for the better. I propose that this energy, free energy, will change the world for the better.
Okay. I got 2 more questions to ask you, and then I'm going to give you the floor for your, what you want to leave people with. But first, okay, let's talk about some of the more deadly diseases that people have, like cancer and well, I don't know if you can do dementia.
Yeah.
There's no chemical for dementia. But what? So let's talk about cancer, because that's for men. It's prostate cancer, colon cancer, right? Those are the 2 big ones.
Let me mention what can we do? Well, in theory, now follow my thinking. That's a scalar wave. That's been photographed by way of time-lapse photography. Look at that. It's a double helix. And below is a Tesla coil. That's a Tesla coil. But concentrate above. This is the scalar wave. It's a double helix. Right. A double helix. Now, here's another double helix.
DNA.
Yeah. There was a man by the name of Antoine Priory, back in the 50s, who was using scalar energy waves to correct DNA. And in so doing, he uses scalar energy tube, his plasma tube, to correct DNA, and people were being cured of cancer and tumors back in the 50s and 60s. What I would like to do is copy the work of this man, Antoine Priory, use a scalar wave to correct DNA. The best, easiest way to correct any disease pattern is with energy, not a chemical. We work with energy only, scalar energy. My contention is a scalar wave should be able to correct DNA. That's my contention.
So what Tom just showed us was the scalar energy, the light, right? The light from the scalar energy is in the shape of a double helix, which is the exact shape of our DNA's double helix. Now, when we're sick, when we're not healthy, our DNA is out of whack, right? So what we want to do is we want to, fix that. We want to put it back into health. And what happened to that man, by the way? Because you just said he was doing it in the 50s. Something must have happened to him.
He was actually, one time the French government was financing him, and he was very successful. And it was a claim that he had discovered the cure for cancer, because whether it was a person or an animal, his scalar energy instrument could cure people. Now, ever since then, nobody's resurrected his work. The instrument has fallen into disrepair, and it's gone nowhere.
Okay, so I missed what happened to him though. Like, he
was quite successful, and throughout his career, he was demonstrating that people and animals were being cured of cancer. But ultimately, the funding dried up. He could not advance his research. The instrument broke down. He didn't have the money to repair the instrument. And sadly, it's an obscurity now. It should not be. This was noteworthy. Many people were being cured, as well as animals, of cancer. And there's merit to this, because many scientists and many scientific communities were interested in his work. And at least there was a great deal of interest back in the 50s and 60s. Well, once again, it's so esoteric and there's no money in it. So how are you going to
Yeah.
fund something that there's no money in it? Why do you want to spend millions of dollars and you don't have a paycheck at the end of the tunnel?
Right, right. Um, okay, so the picture, when someone uploads a picture, is it has to be specific? Is there a specific type of picture? Does it have to be super clear? Or
Yeah.
is it like just give us the picture
Any
and
type of
scalar
photo.
energy will
You
do the
just
work?
simply email a photograph. And the age of the photograph doesn't matter. This photograph might be 5 years old, but it's still my energy field.
Okay,
The
okay.
energy on that photograph stays with me forever. So
Sure.
remember, we're not working in biological terms, we're working in scalar terms, and scalar is always in the present moment. So this is not Newtonian physics. It's a physics in which the energy stays with an object forever.
All right. I love it. So the floor is yours. What last
Yeah.
message do you want to give to the
Okay.
listeners? I really appreciate you being on, by the way,
Thank
Tom. I think that I like to give, like I said before, with all these advancements and things that are happening, the fact that we're in the worst health that we've ever been boggles my mind. And I think it's just we're very close-minded to trying things and being consistent with things and yeah. So I'm going to give you the floor now and
Yeah,
any
thank
last
you.
words.
I offer 15 days of free session on my website, scalarlight.com. In order for me to prove this, I have to be very outgoing. I think I am. And I allow people to email me their photographs, and then I let people decide how they feel. So go to the website, scalarlight.com. That's SCALAR, scalarlight.com. And you and your family, you can include your pets, sign up. 15 days of free sessions, and then you prove it to yourself. You will feel better. You'll feel something. I'll let you be the judge.
Can you choose what you want to like feel or remove or what have you?
Why
Or you
not?
just
Many people do choose. Many
okay.
people want to interact with this energy, and I would suggest that people participate in their healing. So, to answer your question, yes. But
Okay.
my pro forma is I balance the chakras on a daily basis. I'll eliminate toxins and microbes on a daily basis. And then the balance of the day, I'm sending energetically nutrients into the photographic force field. That's what I offer per se, pro forma. But you still can add to that by asking the creator to provide an additional blessing to you. Why not?
Right. How long? So if I let me just one. I know I said this was the last thing, but you said free 15 sessions. But how
Uh,
long does something like? Let's say I wanted to do the
the
testosterone.
15 days is usually all that people need to make a decision whether they
Okay.
like it or not. I
Okay. Okay.
like to keep it at 15 days. That's why it's consolidated. It's a short period of time.
Yeah.
There's no obligation on people, but some people just want to jump in the water first,
Sure.
step by step. So this is the way we can dip your toe in the water.
Love it. Well, you heard it here. Thank you so much, Tom. I really appreciate you. I'm going to try it. Like, that's not even a question. I mean, I do everything so that, because my guys will be like, hey, so how did that go? How did you feel? But I do, if you're listening to this or watching this, this is something that you cannot go wrong. It's a no brainer. Just upload your picture. Go to the site scalarlight.com. That's SCALAR light.com. LIGHT, by the way, .com. Go to that site, sign up, do the 15 days for free, upload the pic, and, kind of think about where you're at right now so that you're not just uploading a picture for the sake of uploading a picture and then that's it. Upload your picture. Think about what you are, how you want to feel. If it's energy, if it's what have you, I'm sure that there's going to be instructions there. And then go through the 15 days and be part of your healing in a sense of try to understand what's happening. Oh, wow, I am actually feeling a little bit better, right? Don't fight it. Just invite it, as I say, right? Don't fight it. Invite it. And it's free. So thank you so much, Tom. So also, where can people find you? Just scalarlight.com, or is there?
Our website has all of our, at the very bottom, all of our social media sites. Just go to the website, scalarlight.com. That's the place to start.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll talk soon.